Hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm in Shanghai. Today, we're going out onto the streets to ask the Chinese millennials here in the city and in nearby towns what they think of America and other questions about their lives. Let's see what they have to say. It means openness and freedom. I think the natural landscape there is really beautiful, but I also heard that some places are unsafe. Openness. I used to, and I still really want to visit New York. I hope one day I can visit there, maybe go on a road trip or just to have fun.
America was considered a leader, but right now, internationally, its position is precarious. It's not in the same dominant position like it was in the 90s.
Free and democratic.
Americans' idea of liberty is a feeling of freedom, openness, and being modern. It's a superpower. A lot of my impressions of America is reflected in many aspects of our lives, such as their tech products and popular music and pop stars like Taylor Swift. These have had a subtle and imperceptible influence on our daily lives. I think the biggest advantage of China is that Chinese food is more delicious. And for the US is that their culture is more inclusive. It's diverse. Chinese culture is broader and more profound. I spent some time in Europe before, and the first feeling I got when I came back is that China is quite advanced in many ways. For example, we can pay by scanning QR codes everywhere, which is very convenient.
The Chinese government is more efficient.
The advantage of the US is their advanced technology and economy. The advantage of China is it is now becoming more and more open and inclusive.
I think American students may pay more attention to critical thinking skills. They like challenges and innovations more.
I think the young people there have more freedom, are more carefree and possibly happier than us.
When I was traveling in Europe, I encountered some American backpackers who are prejudiced against China. For example, they assume all Chinese eat dogs, or they think the fact I speak English well is a huge deal, which is biased. But then I also came across some other Americans in Shanghai. Maybe they were New Yorkers, who seem to know China better than others. I feel that there is quite a big gap between these types of Americans.
Their view of the world is also more open and inclusive. At least I haven't met prejudiced American international students. We mostly like having fun together.
They might be more objective than me. I may be more subjective when taking sides, especially when it comes to taking a side on patriotic issues. I tend to be more inclined to favor my own country, regardless of whether it is right or wrong. But they don't feel the same favoritism towards their own country. What's good is good and what's bad is bad. They are more objective.
iPhone.
Do I have to mention the brand?
iPhone 4 back in the day.
Apple.
The one I use the most, Apple.
Apple products, like the iPhone. Apple.
Breaking Bad. It would be women's issues, being aware gender equality issues, also environmental issues because of the takeout culture. Personally, I rely on food delivery apps too much, and every time I use those apps for food, I feel a strong sense of guilt.
How to be financially independent, because I want to travel when the pandemic's over or before it's over. Also, many young people may be thinking about going back to their hometowns to purchase a house, perhaps after working so hard in the big cities. This is probably something they are concerned about. I just care about being happy.
When it comes to American issues, I'm actually concerned about gun control or public security issues because of the negative news we've been seeing about it in the past 2 years. When it comes to Chinese society, I have been personally paying attention to poverty alleviation issues, and especially about rural education.
I'm more concerned about, if I go abroad as an Asian, will people be friendly or malicious towards me? I would be worried about my own safety.
I'm concerned about my own wealth appreciation.
I personally would be concerned about my parents. As they are getting older, how can one ensure their quality of life?
The new generation of young people who enter the job market find a lot of opportunities and resources may have been taken up by the older generation.
In other words, there might not be potential growth for them.
Our generation has a very, very strong sense of self-awareness. And sometimes in the process of integrating into society, we might have conflicts with other generations. Therefore, I've been thinking, how can we integrate with the older generation, yet at the same time keep our own uniqueness?
So much better.
We eat better and dress nicer, but we have more stress. When my parents graduated, the government allocated jobs to all graduates, and they have the same job for life. They don't have too much pressure, while I might face the possibilities of being laid off and other stress in life.
I think I really am more fortunate than them. We now live in a society with advanced internet technology and better information communication. We are living in an era where the society as a whole is better than the previous generation.
When I was young, when my parents first got married, just ensuring the family was fed was a challenge. I remember clearly that when I was in middle school, I saw some small stores selling apples and I wanted them badly. Because of this, my mom criticized me for a long time because we could not afford it. In the end, I didn't get to eat an apple.
很好了，超级好了。
Wonderful. It was super good. We are the lucky ones. For instance, this drink I have in my hand, in my parents' generation, they cannot even dream about it. In the 60s, 70s, or 80s, a bicycle was probably a necessity you had to own when you got married.
Now there are so many platforms to get information. I usually use 小红书, Bilibili, and TikTok.
WeChat accounts, because WeChat is essential to our daily life.
I'm a journalism student, so I like to get information from Al Jazeera, which I think is more objective and fair. I have been trying to have a technology detox. I think we are bombarded with too much information anyway.
Maybe forums, short videos, or Weibo, and then WeChat accounts.
I read news about society, lifestyle, entertainment, and for international news I use Facebook or Twitter.
I like to watch CCTV 13, a news channel.
My husband and I decided to start our own business.
Abstractly, the start and the rise of my female self-awareness. But it is probably not a single moment. Rather, it is the sum of those little moments accumulated toward a more impactful one.
I think it's going out and seeing the world. Places like Egypt help me understand more about the different possibilities of life. So there you have it. The Chinese millennials we met are diverse with lots of opinions. They think about some of the same issues as American millennials and have some of the same interests. They want to be seen for who they are and not what people think they are based on where they're from. Sounds familiar? It seems like the Chinese millennials are not so different from the American counterparts after all. Thank you for joining us.